What's going on, everybody? ODC here, and I'm back with another Thoughts in My Head. Today's Thoughts in My Head is about, it's a wrestling topic. It's about Bret Hart. It's Bret, for me, it's always been really, he's always been like an important wrestler to me growing up. Like, Macho Man was hugely important. So was Roddy Piper to me. And I'm not going to lie. Yes, Hulk Hogan is a part of everyone's childhood. I'm not going to bullshit you. But I always lean more towards Macho Man and Roddy Piper as opposed to Hulk Hogan. I have to say this, though. Bret was always one of my top 5 wrestlers of all time. Especially in the 90s, it was always between him and Shawn, and I always appreciated their body of work, especially when they worked together, which was, I gotta say, on the House Show network, pretty frequent. Especially in the earlier 90s, they worked together heavily. Usually Bret going over on Shawn, which a lot of people don't know about, and I think it's funny that constantly people say that Shawn never laid down for anybody, blah, blah, blah. For years laid down for Bret constantly. But anyway, I always enjoyed their Survivor Series matches. Both of them. Even the Screwjob one, I can appreciate the match itself. And then their ladder match for the IC title was fantastic. Like I said, their world heavyweight title matches together, both of them, or actually all 3 of them, I should say, are all fun to watch. Whenever those two got into a ring together, it was like, I don't know, like the next gear got kicked in, you know? You always knew that you were going to have a match great between the two, whether it was them together or them separate with a fellow wrestling partner. But the major cool thing about both of these guys is that when they really were feuding, it was something to really watch. Like, it really, at least for me, really kept me honed in. Like, I really was like, oh, what's going to happen between those two this week? Or what's going to happen between those two next week? Or, you know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen tonight? And then, the screw job happened. That got kind of taken away from us. That could have been pushed even further into a WrestleMania match, and that was supposed to be the thing for WrestleMania 13, and that didn't happen, obviously. We will never know the real truth behind all of it, but we can speculate. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. The point why I'm here is that sorry, I have 4 dogs, and they just start randomly barking for no reason. I got to say that the recent comments that Bret has made, and I have to turn this TV on really quick and walk away. The recent comments that he's had, I don't think are really hold any weight, and I don't think they hold any water. He made a comment saying that there was a sexual relationship between Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon. Now, this isn't the first time I've heard this, and not even heard it from Bret, and I don't know why people are just now making tons of videos about it, because he said this a long time ago that he speculated this. Now, none of this is based on any factual information. People are just saying, oh, Bret said that Shawn and Vince were hooking up, and that's why he got his push. He said this like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago? I mean, there's older interviews with him saying this. And for some reason, people either didn't watch those interviews or weren't paying attention, or I don't know. Road Warrior Hawk is also on, I think, a 2004 or 2002 interview saying that, yeah, I think they're fucking, or whatever. And that's libelous and based on no factual information either. What I think it is it's more speculation than anything. I think the major problem I have with that sort of thing is that you have to be able to back up your claim. If you're just going to be the guy or the girl that sits there and just makes shit up and then say, yeah, that's a fact, then you have to be able to give receipts and back that up. You can't just assume this person did this thing when you have no actual factual information. Now, if you have actual factual, information about this and have people that can corroborate their story and have people that have eyewitnessed it, then that's a horse of a different color, and then they have some credence to what they're saying. But these wrestlers that are just coming out, it just sounds like, was it telegram, telewrestler? It's just rumor bullshit is all it is. And, I had a lot of respect for Bret and, having kind of, seeing him being screwed over and in a very professional way. Like, I have been in that boat where professionally I have been screwed over. And I didn't appreciate it either. And, it does carry some weight on your shoulders for a certain time, but eventually you have to get over it. Like, you have to be able to let that go, make peace with it, and let it go. Now, the major issue I have with him saying things like this is that Bret, to me, has always been a person to look up to. And it seems like you would want to set the example as a role model, right? That's the whole point of being a role model. You have to be able to rise above the bullshit and the hate and all that stuff and be able to be a better person. Now, while bad things did happen to Bret, you have to become the better person and rise above it. That's the whole point. And then for people that did screw you over, if you are willing in yourself to be able to forgive them, forgiveness is an important thing. And I'm going to explain the word of forgiveness. Now, I am not a religious person at all on any aspect. I went to Catholic school between the grade 6 and grade 8. And then I got the hell out of there because I didn't really like, the religious system. I can appreciate the morals and values that do come from the stories of the Bible and stuff like that. These are stories. They are meant to be told so people become better people, so you become a better person overall. Now, one of the major things in Catholicism is forgiveness, okay? Jesus died for all of the sins of humanity. That's forgiving. If that's not any story on its own, that is the story of a hero's sacrifice. He sacrificed himself for the betterment of mankind. He was selfless. He forgave. Now, imagine now if Jesus was that same person, right? Forgave everybody's sins, died for those sins, and then came back from the dead and murdered all of humanity. That's what Bret Hart does. He does not truly forgive anybody. He just can't let it go. He can't let it go. If he forgives somebody, yeah, he'll say that, but is he a man of his word at this point? No. You objectively cannot say that he is a man of his word. Because when you forgive someone, you're not only absolving the sins that were done to you, you're also absolving that person's sins that they did to you. It's a win-win scenario. You get over it, and they can get over it. And then you guys can become better people. That's the point of forgiveness. I don't think he understands what forgiveness is. I think he just thinks like, oh, I forgive you. And if you don't hang out with me and you're not my best friend, then fuck you. I'm never going to talk to you. I'm going to make up all this shit and talk shit about you behind your back. That's not forgiving. You have ceased to forgive said person. So and it makes his forgiveness to Shawn, very disingenuous. Because, and that's the thing I think that hurts me as a fan of him the most, is that he was able to just say, yes, I forgive you. And it was all bullshit. And this is coming from one of the most, I thought, genuine people. I have met Bret myself, and I've had a quick conversation. Not like I got to know him or anything, but I've had a quick conversation, and the proof is usually in the pudding. Of yes, he was a man of his word. If he shook your hand, he was going to do the thing. And now it's like I'm almost thinking like, would he do the thing? Because if you're not even willing to be a man and forgive somebody and let it go and get over it, because what, you want to make a buck or something? Because you need some sort of shock value so people are talking about you, so you're trending on Twitter or something like that. That doesn't seem like the Bret Hart that I knew growing up. This seems like some sort of desperate Bret Hart. And I don't like that, man. Like that's a shame. It's not even the fact that I need to like it. It's the fact that I just have lost some respect. And for someone who built their entire persona, character, everything off of respect, it doesn't seem like he respects himself or others. And that's a shame. That's a real caveat here. So, I don't know. This is just something I wanted to talk about really quick. Like I said, he's just, to me, he has become a guy yelling at a cloud, an old man yelling at a cloud, shaking his fist in the air. And he's never going to let anything that happened to him or, and Bret's not perfect. I mean, I'm sure he's screwed over people in his past. I'm sure, there's rumors that he cheated on his wife, all this stuff. Like, Bret is not a perfect person, and nobody is. But if you've got flaws and you're constantly talking shit about everybody else's flaws, doesn't that make you a hypocrite? I don't know. It's just, I'm just spitballing here. I'm just seeing from what I'm being shown or what I'm reading that all signs are pointing to this is more about Bret than anybody else. And I guarantee you're not going to hear any sort of comeback or anything from Shawn. He'll probably just, if he does say anything about it, he'll probably just be like, you know what, I'd rather not even just talk about that. What's the point? Because at this point, like, it's just somebody speculating on something that you didn't do. There's no proof behind it. He might actually just laugh at it and move on with his life because he's got bigger fish to fry. So, and this isn't even about me being, you guys know how objective I am. And I don't know, it just seems like a very desperate attempt for people to cheer you on. But that's all I have to say about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This has been another Thoughts in My Head. I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy your collection. Play with your figures. And I'll see you guys on the flip side.